I had been walking for hours now. My feet have been killing me. With each step of excruciating pain, I was regretting the choice of leaving the hotel where my buddies and I were spending the night. I just wanted a pleasant walk. It had turned dark and I was lost. I couldn't see a thing. My cell phone was back at the hotel, so I kept on walking and was almost certain I was going in the right direction. However, I wasn't getting anywhere. I simply needed to tough it out. As I kept walking, I kept praying in hopes for a few cars to come my way so I could hitch a ride. My mind had given up already, as I'd been waiting for so long now. I heard a distant sound. I'm thinking it was a heavy car or jeep. I turned my head towards the sound. It was behind me. A big pickup truck speeding right towards me. I needed to shoot my shot at that moment before I got stranded on this road, which I did not know very well. I cautiously made my way to the center of the road and waved my arms like a determined animal. I was desperate and needed to be freed from my misery. Thankfully, the truck gradually slowed down and came to a halt right in the front of me. I ran to the driver's seat and thanked him for stopping. "Hello, thank you for stopping. I really need a ride back to my hotel. I lost track of where I was going. Might you be so kind as to let me in?" The truck driver was a middle-aged man. He had his eyes fixed ahead on the road the whole time. He didn't even look towards me, neither did he say a word. He was simply staring at the road. I said hey to him, but he didn't respond. I requested one more time if he could take me back, and he gave me a slight nod. Finally, an answer. I cautiously jumped into the passenger seat and fastened my seatbelt. As soon as I did that, he sped his truck like a maniac, as if he had been planning to crash it. My heart leaped out of my throat in fear, and I yelled at him to slow down and relax. The truck driver did not say a word to me. He immediately took a turn and went off-road. The whole truck shook, and I was worried for my life. There was no way I was getting out of this mess alive. He kept driving on the bumpy route without hitting the brakes. I was stunned how he didn't hit any trees yet. After some time, he drifted to a stop. There was a clearing amongst the trees ahead. I kept yelling at him in anger, calling him a loopy psychopath, and told him to take me back. Not a word escaped his mouth. Suddenly, he got out of his truck and went towards some storage space. I froze for a second, not knowing what to do, but followed him because I wanted answers. The storage space was covered with what appeared to be some type of blanket sheet, with very dark, almost black spots in different areas of it. The truck driver lifted the blanket and what seems to be bodies underneath it. I'm quite certain they had been dead. Horrified on the sight and the stench of those bodies, I started to move back and tripped into the ground. In the meantime, the man picked up the shovel and started digging a hole to put the bodies in. When he was done burying them, he made eye contact with me with sad, teary eyes that possessed a maniac gleam of anger in them. A chill ran up my spine. My only thought was I was his next victim, so I began walking away, looking back once in a while. He had not moved an inch, but he kept looking at me. I started to run, falling many times because my body was weak. I noticed I was pretty distant from him and managed to get out of the woods. I'd returned to the main road and surprisingly found my way back to the hotel. I ran inside and notified the front desk, and they notified local police. While I was at the station, a headline from an old newspaper caught my eye. It was a picture of a man in the identical truck I had just seen. It stated that he and his family had been found dead in their house. They had all been ruthlessly murdered. The horror struck me, but not because they were murdered, but because the newspaper was printed weeks prior to my incident.